I've fallen in my kitchen, in my garden. Even once while reaching for a teacup I've reached for 1,000 times before. Each fall took something from me, not just bruises or sore bones, but confidence, independence, that quiet belief that I could move through my own home safely. But I'm still here, still walking and feeling steady on my feet, and I'm going to tell you exactly what helped me stop falling and how you can improve your balance no matter your age. It wasn't my first fall that scared me. It was the third. The first time I laughed it off. Silly me, I said, dusting myself off. The second time I blamed the rug. But the third time, I stayed on the floor longer than I wanted to. Not because I couldn't get up, but because I was afraid it would happen again. That's when I realized falling isn't just about your legs. It's about your habits, your surroundings, your awareness, your entire way of moving through the world. So I started paying attention. I used to think my home was safe simply because it was familiar. Oh, how wrong I was. The truth is, the more familiar something is, the less carefully we move through it. I had rugs that curled at the edges, slippers that slid just a bit too easily, a chair I used to steady myself, but it wasn't as stable as I thought. So I made changes, small ones at first. I removed loose rugs or taped them down properly. I swapped my slippery slippers for shoes with grip, even inside the house. I made sure there was always something solid to hold on to in places where I tended to lose balance. And the biggest change? I stopped rushing. You wouldn't think rushing across your own living room could be dangerous. But when your body isn't as quick to react as it once was, rushing becomes a gamble. Here's something I wish someone had told me at 70 or even 80. Balance is something you can train. I used to believe you either had good balance or you didn't, but balance is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you train it, it improves. I started with something very simple, standing on one foot. At first, I could barely manage a few seconds. I held onto the kitchen counter and lifted one foot just slightly. It felt ridiculous, but I did it every day. Little by little, those seconds grew. Then I added more, standing up from a chair without using my hands, walking slowly in a straight line, heel to toe, turning carefully instead of pivoting quickly. These exercises didn't just make me stronger, they made me more aware. I began to notice how I shifted my weight, how I placed my feet. Balance isn't just strength, it's attention. I used to think falling was all about legs, but your eyes and inner ears play a bigger role than you might expect. Your eyes tell your brain where you are in space. Your inner ear helps you stay upright. When either one isn't working properly, your balance suffers. I noticed I felt more unsteady in dim lighting, so I made sure my home was well lit, especially at night. A small night light in the hallway made a world of difference, and I stopped ignoring my vision. When my eyesight changed, even slightly, I found myself misjudging distances. A step looked closer than it was. A chair seemed farther away. So I kept my prescriptions up to date. I made sure I could see clearly, because seeing clearly helps you move safely. Let me tell you something very honest. I don't feel as strong as I did at 50 or even 70, but I am stronger than I was at 88, and that's what matters. Strength gives you a second chance when you lose balance. It's what helps you catch yourself before you fall, or get back up if you do. I began doing simple strength exercises, sitting down and standing up repeatedly, holding onto a counter and lifting my heels. gentle leg lifts while seated. Nothing fancy, nothing fast, just consistent. At first it felt like work. Now it feels like protection. This one surprised me the most. After my falls, I became cautious, then careful, then afraid. And that fear changed how I moved. I walked slower, but also stiffer. I hesitated. I second-guessed every step. And ironically, that made me more unsteady. Fear tightens your body. It disrupts your natural rhythm. It makes you overthink movements that should be smooth. So I had to learn to trust myself again. Not blindly, but gradually. I started in safe environments. I practiced my balance exercises. I reminded myself, I am improving. Confidence didn't come back overnight, but it did come back. I cannot tell you how many times I nearly slipped because of poor shoes, loose slippers, worn-out soles, socks on smooth floors. These are small things that lead to big accidents. Now I wear shoes with good grip, a secure fit, a flat, stable sole. Even inside the house, it may not be fashionable, but at 92, I value staying upright more than I value looking stylish in my living room. There's a difference between moving slowly and becoming inactive. After my falls, part of me wanted to sit more, walk less, avoid risk. But inactivity is its own danger. When you stop moving, your muscles weaken, your balance worsens, and the risk of falling actually increases. So I kept moving, but I did it wisely. I walked daily, even if just around the house. I stood up regularly instead of sitting for hours. I stretched gently. Movement keeps your body ready. This was a hard one for me. I've always been independent. Asking for help felt like admitting defeat, but I learned that preventing a fall is far better than recovering from one. So I made small adjustments. I asked for help reaching high shelves. I kept frequently used items within easy reach. I accepted a steady arm when walking on uneven ground. These weren't signs of weakness, they were signs of wisdom. Sometimes falling isn't just about balance, it's about how your body is feeling in that moment. I noticed I felt more unsteady when I was tired, dehydrated, or rushing. So I started listening to my body more carefully. If I felt dizzy, I sat down. If I was tired, I rested before moving. If I needed water, I drank it. These small acts of awareness prevented bigger problems. I won't tell you I never stumble anymore. I'm 92, not a ballerina, but I haven't had a serious fall in years. More importantly, I don't live in fear of falling. I move with awareness, with intention, with respect for my body and its limits, and that has made all the difference. Falling is not just an accident. It's often the result of many small things adding up. A slippery floor, weak muscles, poor lighting. The good news? That means you can change those things. You don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Stand on one foot for a few seconds today. Look around your home and notice what might trip you. Choose better shoes. Move a little more. Each small step makes you steadier. If you've fallen before, I know how it feels. The embarrassment, the fear. But don't let that be the end of your story. Your body is still capable of learning, of adapting, of becoming stronger and steadier than it is today. I'm living proof of that. At 92, I don't move like I used to, but I move with purpose. And most importantly, I stay on my feet. And you can too.